It's 2024, you want to make your first money online, and you are sat here watching YouTube videos, Instagram Reels, TikToks, trying to find the best person to teach you. This video is going to be a no bullshit, literally to the point, A to Z strategy in terms of what you need to focus on to not only make $100,000, but actually become a person that is capable of making $100,000 and then hopefully capable of making $1 million one day. So who am I? My name's Liam. I've made over $5 million online with different business models. So I do feel like I am qualified to teach you about these things. I've been doing business for as long as I can remember, and online business specifically for over 7 years. So I've done lots of different things, found lots of things out, failed tons of times, and won a few times. So let's get into this. Making your first $100,000 in 2024 is more achievable than you probably realize. Let's get into it. Now, right now, you're probably focused on the wrong thing. The reality is a lot of people, they go straight to the 1 million mark. They're like, aim for the stars and you land on the moon. That's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. You need to be aiming for what you can achieve and not for what you can't achieve. That whole methodology of like going and aim for the stars and landing on the moon, I get it, but if you're aiming for the stars and you land on the moon, you actually didn't achieve what you set yourself out to do. So you never actually end up like giving yourself credit of being like, I am the person that is able to set a goal, build a plan, and then execute on that plan and actually achieve the goal that I set. You become the person who can always get halfway. So let's actually set our goals to something that is achievable, and that is making $100,000 in 2024. If you have no experience in business, or you're working a job right now and you're looking to start something online, 100K is achievable. So let's set that as our North Star. Let's set that as our goal for the end of the year. All we need to do is focus on the steps that we need to take to achieve that 100K, and then we can replicate those steps to achieve the million after that. Now, going from $1,000 in your bank account to $100,000 in your bank account is a lot easier than going from 1,000 to $1 million. We can all agree on that. And then going from 100,000 to $1 million is only a 10x. So there you go. Change your mindset a little bit around that, and you'll find yourself actually giving yourself credit when you start to land on these goals rather than aiming for the fucking stars and landing somewhere in between. Now, what does making 100K involve? What does it actually look like? Now, to me, it's less about what is the blueprint and the strategy of getting to that 100K, because there are a million ways for you to do that. There are so many different business models you can do. You could get lucky on a trade. You can get into crypto, whatever it is. But what you actually have to become is the person that is capable of making that money. You have to elevate yourself in terms of your mindset, your mentality, your work ethic, your day-to-day. It all has to shift from where it's at right now. And you have to become the person that is capable of making and managing $100,000. You also have to find pleasure in doing hard tasks. You have to really enjoy it, getting up every morning, going into your day, not really having a 100% guarantee that it's all going to work out. But you have to have enough dedication and enough resilience to be able to be like, I'm still going to go do it. I'm still going to go and attempt to do this because this is what I'm so hungry for. This is where I want to be. So you have to start enjoying the hard stuff. You have to, I see this talk about being in the trenches and getting out the trenches. Fuck that. The trenches are fun. You learn so much stuff, and I'm still in the trenches to this day, and I've generated over $5 million. I love the trenches. It's where you learn stuff, and it's where I get the most amount of fulfillment. You have to be hungry for this. You have to love it, and you have to put all of that love and energy behind whatever you're doing. And that is a surefire way for you to actually hit these goals. Now, focusing on one thing intently is more difficult than it sounds. A lot of you are obviously looking at all these different business models and you're trying different things at the same time. I know I was getting bored of business models, and I'd jump 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, and I'd keep jumping around and moving around until I found the one for me. Now, although this was fine, what it did was it meant that I was putting 20% effort into pretty much everything that I tried, because I always had this idea in my mind being like, I'll just move on to the next thing if this doesn't work out. Now, the reality is you actually have to just pick one thing and you have to stick at it. You have to become an expert. When you're first learning how to ride a bike, you can't ride a bike when you first get started. It takes you a few weeks to get going. So it's similar to business. You're not going to be good at the business that you pick. So that doesn't mean you jump ship and you start changing and going to another business, because guess what? You're probably going to be shit at that one too. So we need to stick on one business. We need to educate ourselves. We need to get better at what we're doing. And eventually that will pay off. Now, along the way, you're going to fail. You're going to fail so many times. I fail every single day, still to this day. And that is just part of entrepreneurship. So be okay with the failures, because there are lessons in these failures. Now, when you're first getting started, you either get paid in money or you get paid in lessons and skills that you learn, right? And these lessons either come from the wins or the failures. 9 times out of 10, they're going to come from the failures more, because that's just the way it's gone for me. And I feel like the failures that I've had over the last 7 years have been invaluable for the successes that I've seen. So bear that in mind. You need to start collecting failures. If you're collecting failures, it means you're doing something right. You're actually heading in the right direction, and you're actually, putting yourself out there and doing things that are difficult, which means eventually you're going to get rewarded for that. Now, a lot of you are consuming the wrong information. You are trying to watch kids, literal kids on Instagram. I saw like a video of a 14-year-old expert sales closer the other day teaching people how to close on a sales call. Kid's 14. There's no chance in hell this guy knows what he's talking about. Just ignore it. Everything on Instagram or TikTok, ignore it. It's a shit platform. I post stuff on there just because people are there. But start looking at the podcast. Start looking at people that are older. Start looking at people that have got the experience, have got the reps under their belt, and they have built what you're trying to achieve. So you have to find people that have actually achieved what you're trying to achieve. They've got the skills that you're trying to learn. Those are the people that are creating the content that you need to consume. Now, once you've found these people that you can trust and are legitimate, then you can take the information that they're giving, you can consume that content, you can learn the lessons that they teach, and then you can actually go and execute on what you're learning. Now, the key thing is you need to be doing this in a way where you need to be working deeply. You need to be setting yourself tasks every single day. When you wake up in the morning, you lay out your day, right? For me, I set myself 3 tasks that need to be complete. And then I use this kitchen timer to literally give myself 60-minute slots or 2-hour slots, whatever it is I'm doing in that day. And then I will work deeply, uninterrupted, no distractions, no girlfriend asking me questions, no people texting my phone, no checking my analytics on YouTube or checking any emails. It's just me and that task. And once that task is complete, then I can, relax and kind of move on to something else. But this is what deep work is. And if you don't know what deep work is, there's a really good book called Deep Work. You should read it. It teaches you a lot about, guess what? Deep work. And that is key for entrepreneurship. That's key for making money. Most of the people I speak to, they're saying, I'm putting in 14 hours a day. But the reality is 12 of those hours are watching YouTube videos. The rest are procrastinating on what tasks they actually need to do after they've consumed all of that content. And their brains are just fried. So take a step back, plan out your day, work deeply for a few hours every single day, and you will achieve so much more than any of these other people that are saying they're working 12 hours a day, okay? After that, we now need to raise your internal thermostat. Now, you would have seen it spoken about everywhere, so I'm not going to dive into this one too much, but you are the same as the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So if the 5 people you hang around with the most right now are skateboarding around town, smoking weed, doing drugs on the weekend, bumming around and talking and bitching about the jobs that they work at and they hate them so much and how life sucks, then you need to escape that. You need to elevate yourself. You need to start to speak to people, or at least bring people into your network that are where you want to be. For me, I learned so many lessons off of people that I just met online. And, I started conversations with them. They told me what's working for them. I bounced ideas with them. And this, for me, it was an absolute game changer, because I started to think the same way they started to think. And those were the people that I would ask my questions to. And what it does is it raises your thermostat. It raises your temperature up, and you slowly start to become this person that is ready and capable of making that $100,000. So make that a focus for you. I'm not saying ditch all your friends. I'm not saying just text them now saying you're done with them, you never want to see them again. But be conscious about the people and the conversations you're having. Be conscious about the network and the circle that you're in. It really is a key part of all of this. If you're surrounded by negativity and people that are like, that's so hard, we'll never make money. Money's so difficult to make. You're going to be stuck in that mindset. So broaden your network, start to speak to people that have big goals, have big ambitions, have achieved things in life, and you will start to become them. Now, on that point, ignoring everything else is key. Ignore the world around you. Ignore the distractions. Ignore what people are telling you. When I was doing this, I had family members that were like, mate, bullshit, you're not going to be able to make money online. This is going to be so hard. You're going to have to go and get a job again, blah, blah, blah. And you have to ignore that. You have to have like an unwavering resilience about yourself and such a determination to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And that involves being ignorant and ignoring other people around you and just doing what you've set yourself a goal to do. So bear that in mind. There's tons of distractions online in general as well. Instagram, TikTok, bin that shit off. Just focus on the longer form stuff. Watch YouTube videos from the content creators that you can trust. Consume their content, learn, educate yourself, upskill yourself, then execute on that. So right now in 2024, it's a cool thing to be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of wantrepreneurs, they call them. Now the key thing is a lot of these people don't realize the work that is involved. The level of effort that goes into driving sales or money online. It really isn't easy. Like I said, you have to find fulfillment in this. You have to find enjoyment in doing the hard task and just getting on with it. Like your goals and your like vision of what your future looks like needs to drive you so much that no matter how hard the task is, or no matter how many parties you have to miss, or how much effort you have to put in, it doesn't matter, because that goal is the only thing that you care about. A lot of you overcomplicate a lot of things as well. So you'll sit there and you'll watch 50 different videos on something and your brain will just be fried. You'll be like, what the hell? Where do I even start? And the reality is the blueprint is pretty straightforward. You learn something, you make a plan on it, you start to execute on the small learnings that you've learned, baby steps, right? We're not trying to defeat Rome in a week. We're trying to understand small incremental changes that we can make inside of our day-to-day life or inside of our business that can take us to that goal. So we learn, we plan, we execute, and then we make changes on the results of that execution. So yeah, you can end up overcomplicating things, and it's a key lesson that I learned. So make sure you don't overcomplicate it. It's pretty straightforward, making money. You just have to get your information from the right source. We need to focus on one thing. We need to give it time. We're trying to generate $100,000 in a year, not in 2 weeks. So that means if you're going to give up after a month and change to something else, it's pointless. Just pick one thing, take a month before you pick that one thing. Take a month to research all the opportunities that you have and then go into that one thing. But don't jump ship after 2 months when you realize it's hard, because every single way of making money online is hard. Regardless of what anyone says, I don't care. It is difficult. It's not an easy task. If it was an easy task, everyone's nan and granddad would be sat there right now flipping sofas on eBay that they've picked up outside of someone's house on Facebook Marketplace. Do you know what I mean? It's not easy. So get that mindset out of your head and understand that every single business model out there isn't easy, regardless of what anyone says on YouTube. And then, last point, it all just boils down to execution. Now, I'm not just sat here preaching to you and telling you shit that I didn't actually do myself. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what my first 100K looked like and show you how many ups and downs there were and what actually it took for me to get to that point. Now, in my first month of online business, I got so lucky. I started dropshipping. I watched a few videos. I was selling this moon lamp and running paid Instagram influencer shoutouts. And luckily, literally luckily, I managed to generate 30K online. Now, why do I say luckily? Because I had no clue what I was doing. I paid some guy on Instagram. I'd set up a Shopify store. I had found this product that looked cool. And just by chance, I managed to hit gold. I actually managed to find a product that was working and find the perfect Instagram influencer for that specific product. Now, I made 30K and pretty much the product died. But what I did after that was I realized that there was such a huge demand around these Shopify stores and people setting up these Shopify stores for people that I actually started to build Shopify stores and help other people build Shopify stores so that they can go and sell products and start dropshipping. So my first 100K was actually made selling Shopify stores to other people that wanted to build Shopify stores and they didn't want or didn't have the background in design or web design. Luckily I did. That was a skill that I had. So I could make these really nice looking Shopify stores and I was selling for like $1,000 to go. Now I was paying a team in India to do the fulfillment. My main role was just marketing this business. It was called Opto Dropshipping at the time and it worked. It was the way that I made my first 100K. Now I didn't make my first 100K in 2 weeks or 2 months or 3 months. It took like 8 months to get me to this point. And the reason why it worked so well is because I got lucky. It was good timing. The whole drop shipping space had just started kicking off. There wasn't a ton of competitors in this space. There wasn't a ton of other people with this business model when it comes to actually building drop shipping stores to people. Now there are hundreds, so it's not going to work. But I quickly made a plan and I executed on that plan. I saw the opportunity, I planned around it, I strategized and I executed and I was quick. And yes, I had doubts. I had so many doubts. I was literally, in my first 6 months of online business, I was like 23 at the time. I had no clue on whether it was going to work, but I knew that I had to try it to find out if it was going to work. I wasn't going to sit there and say, I'm probably not going to go and do this because it's probably not going to work. It's a natural thing. Doubt is a natural thing. We're all going to get it. You're probably getting it right now watching this video thinking, I don't think I can make 100K this year. And it's fine. It's normal. The brain wants to avoid danger. It wants to avoid pain. So it puts these doubts in our mind for us to then say, oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to go sit on the sofa instead and watch a YouTube video. And as long as you know that, and as long as you can prepare yourself for that, that is how you start to become that person who is capable of making this $100,000. So yeah, that is what I did. I pushed through all doubt. I planned, I executed, and I got lucky. That was essentially it. Like, I could have failed 100 times before this business, but luckily I didn't. Now, after this business model, I failed plenty of times. I failed so many times after this. I didn't really understand how to scale the business. I didn't really know where I could take it from where I took it, and competition came in the market. And ultimately I got pushed out. The business ended up slowing down and stopping completely. So yeah, I then went on to other things. I tried starting other e-com stores and I failed over and over and over again. But the thing that I did was I failed fast. I took a lesson from the thing that I failed at, and then I moved on to the next thing. Now, I wasn't moving on to the next business model. I just moved on to the next increment of the plan and the strategy. Okay, so fail fast, learn quickly, take lessons from those failures, and move on. Now, 2024, why do I think it's such an important year for you, and why do I think this is going to be the year so many people make $100,000? Well, on this channel, we talk a lot about AI. If we look at AI, that is the same trend cycle that Shopify and dropshipping was back in the day when I first landed that first 100K. We are at that point. We are going to see 2024 as the year for AI. What we've seen over the last 12 months is nothing compared to the next 12 months. We work with businesses helping them build custom solutions, building efficiencies, in making them more money, or reducing manual staff hours using different AI solutions. And for me, it's the biggest opportunity that we have in front of us. What other topic or trend right now is this much in demand or growing at the same rate that AI is? So if you're looking for a business model to focus your time and energy on in 2024, an AI automation agency is by far the best. It's what I'm going to be focusing on, and fingers crossed we can make millions this year doing that. Now, like I said, you're going to get distracted this year. There's going to be so many people talking about becoming a high ticket closer is going to be the best business model. E-commerce is going to be the best business model. Faceless YouTube channel is going to be the best business model. Faceless TikTok channels is going to be the best business model. Honestly, it's all noise. It's all noise. And yes, you can go and try all of these things. But at the end of the day, you need to find something that is actually going to be sustainable after that hype and that trend is over. And for me, that is what AI is. But maybe you don't want to get into AI, and that is completely fine. So the strategy and the blueprint that you need to follow is you need to go and start reading, researching, learning as much as you can on a topic that you think is going to take you to that 100K. Now, I read something quite interesting the other day. Apparently reading and watching things only allows you to retain like 10, 20% of the information. But when you start to discuss and you start to have open conversations within your network about the topics that you're learning about and reading about, you start to retain more of that information. So I think that takes you up to like 40% it was once you start discussing and talking to others about the learnings and specific topics. Now, from there, if you then go on to teach or you go on to help or educate someone on those learnings as well, you retain like a further 40%. So all in all, you retain like 80% of all of this information that you've consumed. Now, how can you do this? Well, number one, you read books, you go and watch videos, you listen to podcasts. There's your first 20%. The next is talking to others. So again, elevating your thermostat, speaking to people inside of your network that have done what you're trying to do, or speaking to people that are in the same field that you're trying to get into, having conversations and real discussions about these topics. That's going to allow you to retain more information. And then why don't you go and find someone that is struggling or just getting started and actually help educate them as well? Have a mentoree where you give them advice and you give them feedback on the learnings that you've had. Although you may not be too far ahead of them, you're still going to be able to teach someone stuff that you're learning, and it's going to allow you to retain that information. I've seen it over the last year. We teach a lot of people about how to build AI automation agencies, and it's been crazy. The amount of information that I have retained just from speaking on Q&As and masterclasses inside of our Discord community has been insane. Like, I've retained so much more information, and sometimes I find myself teaching myself new things almost. It's crazy. It's like I can talk about a topic and I just remember that topic so much more after I've gone through it in a masterclass. So it definitely does work. And if you can do that, that's kind of like a game changer. I feel like it's a learning hack. Last thing you have to remember in 2024, it's going to be your own unique journey. You versus the person you're seeing online, or versus me. We're not going to have the same journeys. It's going to be completely different. We live in different countries. We're interested in different things. The tasks we're working on are different. Nothing is the same. Your journey is unique to you, and you have to be okay with that. So stop looking for exact blueprints from A to Z, or the number one way to make something work. Like, you have to be able to embrace your journey as being unique. You have to just get started, and you'll realize, your story or your path is very different to others. And that's okay. Mine was completely different. If I go and speak to the next man, his is going to be completely different. So just remember that. So leaving this video, I want you to be the person that is ready to make $100,000 in 2024. So how are you going to do that? Well, like I said, we need a structured day. So yes, you can wake up. Yes, you can go for a cold shower. Yes, you can wake up at 5 a.m. and go and pray to the moon gods that money will come your way. But the reality is, just writing your plan for the next day, the night before, has been the biggest thing for me. That's such a game changer. And although I don't do it every single day because I'm a lazy fucker, knowing that it works allows me to get extra efficient when I need to. So planning out on a diary the night before your day, and then wake up in the morning and understanding exactly what you need to execute on, is going to be a really good way for you to structure your day and actually build discipline and allow you to deep work. So that's number one for me. You need to reprioritize your entire life. You need to understand that working on the weekend is good. There is no such thing as a weekend. It was made up like 80, 50 years ago, whatever it was. So going out with your mates, yes, it's fun, but do you care more about going out with your mates or becoming financially free? You need to reprioritize and restructure what your goals are and what you actually need to focus on. It will come over time, and you'll probably just start to naturally do it. I wake up every Saturday morning and I'm like, cool, I'm going to get 4 hours of work in before I go and do stuff with the girlfriend, before we go and walk to the butcher's or whatever it is. So I love work. I love waking up on the weekends. I love getting the work done. I'm excited every single day to sit behind my desk and create things and produce content and build businesses. That is what I love. So you need to become that person. Again, you need to be able to focus on deep work. We've already spoken about that. If you can do 2-3 hours of deep work per day, you are going to see insane results. I promise you that. Another thing is, don't tell people what you're doing. Don't go out and start telling people, we're going to make money this year. We're going to build this business to this point. Because what ends up happening is you end up releasing dopamine every single time you go and tell the world something. If I go and tell my friends, we just made 80K this month and we're probably going to make 200K next month. What ends up happening is, I've realized this, is my brain gets a dopamine hit when I say that we're going to hit 200K next month. And I then start to get complacent. I'm like, it's almost like I've already hit that 200K, when the reality is I haven't. I need to get back in the trenches and get back to work. So don't tell anyone. Strip it all back. Keep quiet. Keep it to yourself. Have your goals in mind. Realize that if you don't hit those goals within the time frame you set, that's okay, because you would have learned a shitload of lessons in the meantime, and you still have that goal in place. It's just going to take you a little bit longer to get to. But yeah, don't vocalize it. Don't put it out into the world. All of this affirmation bullshit, don't do it. And the last thing is, you need to execute. This is the golden rule. This is all you need to focus on. If you just sat here and watched this whole video, you probably could have fast forwarded to this point right here and just learned this one lesson. Execution is the key to success. It's the only way you're going to make any money online. I still do it sometimes. I sit here and I'm like procrastinating, thinking, what do I need to do? I need to perfect this strategy before I go out and do it, or I need to perfect this plan and really understand everything before I get into it. But the reality is, you just need to go and do it. You need to go and execute. And it's okay if you fail from that first execution. It's completely okay. You learn a lesson and then you execute again and you get it right. So go out there, take the advice from this video right now. Change your day tomorrow. Write out your plan for tomorrow. Buy yourself a kitchen timer. Go and execute on what I've taught you, because honestly, that is the only blueprint and strategy you ever need. And although it may seem obvious, most people don't do it. So if you can be that guy or that girl who goes and executes on what you learn and actually put shit to action, you are going to see insane results in 2024. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. It's not about the ideas. It's about making things happen. Now, this is a quote from Scott Belsky, a massive entrepreneur out of Silicon Valley. It's not about the ideas we have. It's about making them happen. So look, 2024 is your year. This is the year that you're going to make 100K. All you need to do is focus on what I've taught you in this video, put it to action, and wait to see the results. If you like this type of content, let me know down below in the comments and I'll make more videos just like this. If you did want to join a community of other entrepreneurs building their AI automation agency, there'll be a link down below in the description. You can join the network and start meeting people and elevating your thermostat just like I've spoken about. And also we do have some free training for building your AI automation agency, helping you land your first few clients. There's also a link down below in the description for that. So guys, thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.